Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy TrapGoku, YouTube's favorite Super Saiyan, back with another live video review. Today we're going to be talking about probably one of the, new gold standard in gaming, a banger, an absolute hit, and certified probably the game of the year for me and probably many others of 2021, Guardians of the Galaxy by Square-Enix. Boy, this game is fun from start to finish. I cannot say this game held me by my hand and just did not let go. This game is action-packed, thrilling, and I honestly left this game with a better appreciation of the Guardians and the universe that they inhabit. So let's get into it. But first, let's talk about the story. So the story of Guardians of the Galaxy goes a little something like this. Basically, the Guardians have just formed, pretty much, haven't been together for more than a year after the death of Thanos and the recruitment of Drax the Destroyer and Gamora, the former daughter of Thanos and the most dangerous woman in the galaxy. And they're setting out to not only make a name for themselves in the galaxy so they can get more jobs and better, higher paying jobs, but as well as make some money so they can actually afford to live. And this is where they come into contact with the Nova Corps and various other factions throughout the galaxy that really shape and set up this story of galactic proportions. And I have to say, one of the strongest points of the story, well, two of the strongest points of the story that I have to say without, spoiling the story, is basically how, one, the Guardians, I can feel their connection. They feel like real people to me, and they feel like they genuinely care about each other. Especially the connections between Peter and Rocket. You can tell that, they've been together the longest, and, well, outside of Groot and Rocket, but they've probably been the longest members to have, interactions with those three. And you can really feel their bond, especially in the later levels of the game, come to fruition. You can tell that Gamora and Drax, have PTSD to some degree, and how the other Guardians kind of, work together with them to kind of overcome those situations. There's one scene in the game where Gamora just goes berserk and kind of gives completely in as she sees an event that kind of triggers something that happened in her past where she was taken by Thanos, and she just goes berserk, and the Guardians kind of help her calm down and protect her through the entire situation. And I think that was a great display of who the Guardians are and what makes them tick. I also loved how the Guardians in this series kind of have an air of familiarity to them, as well as for both their MCU and their comic book counterparts, because a lot of you guys know the MCU has a way of, some characters are very accurate to their comic book characters and others aren't. And you kind of see that primarily with the Guardians of the Galaxy and a lot of their past and stuff like that. A lot of people don't know that Starlord is actually the son of a space king, and he's actually a prince, not the son of a celestial or whatever. But I like how the game kind of takes aspects from the MCU and aspects from the comic books and merge it into these characters so that, people from comics, comic book fans, and people who only know the Guardians from the movies and other, things they've been in can recognize these characters and have something to latch on to. So it is really good stuff. Really good job to Square Enix and the guys over there for putting that together. Next thing I wanted to talk about was the gameplay in this game. And the gameplay, oh my goodness, is phenomenal. Now, the gameplay is divided into, 2.5 parts. The first part is you'll probably be on the ship, the Milano, where you'll be able to upgrade your equipment and talk to your crewmates and basically increase your relations with them and, get to know them a lot better by collecting certain artifacts that you'll find while you're actually out in the various, different planets that you'll be able to explore. And this goes into the second part of gameplay, which will have you exploring planets and going to different locations to complete tasks or mission objectives of certain kinds. In these zones, these will be big open areas, usually linear areas, because like I said, the game is pretty much a linear adventure / game. So linear areas with light platforming and puzzle solving you'll have to traverse to not only find different outfits and components to upgrade Peter Quill and unlock different perks. Now, a lot of you guys are probably wondering the second part, which is combat. Combat will have you basically fighting enemies and how you'll defeat enemies basically. Now, throughout the entire game, the only Guardian you'll have primary control to and see the story's perspective from is Peter Quill. The other Guardians you will have control, but you'll only be able to issue out commands at certain points in the story or throughout combat. And this kind of flows a little smooth, as combat kind of reminds me of a mixture of Mass Effect and Destiny, and a lot of it comes from the Final Fantasy VII game. You see, each one of your characters on your team, even though you can't control them, when a certain meter builds up, similar to the ATB meter in Final Fantasy, you'll be able to use that character's special ability. By using that character's special ability, you'll be able to build a multiplier on the enemy's head. The more this multiplier goes up, the more blaster damage Peter will be able to do to that enemy. So look out for that. And this results in a smooth team-based combat situation where all the Guardians get involved and do cool trick moves off each other. You just really play off each other's energy. And there's another part of combat where you can call a huddle. Basically, by calling a huddle, you can have all of your teammates gather around you. You can give them words of inspiration, and you can basically, after you do a successful huddle, you can pretty much spam their special moves over and over again over a set period of time. And I gotta say, this is really fun because I really felt like Peter Quill. I really felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy in this game, and it just felt so smooth, so good. It just makes me, like, literally, honestly, even though I platinumed the game already, I still want to go back and fight more enemies. I wish they had like a challenge mode or something. And yeah, man, I just feel like this game, combat complements the story and story complements the combat. It just goes hand in hand with each other. And another thing I really want to praise this game for, because like playing this game, it took me back to kind of like a 2005 PlayStation 2 era where, you know, games came out. Not only did the games work, but they had a ton of extras and hidden features in them. Like, for example, in Guardians of the Galaxy, you don't have to pay any money for DLC costumes for your characters. Only thing you have to do is literally find them in the worlds, and as you explore throughout the different worlds. That is simply amazing, as most games would want at least $5 a skin for the Guardians. And not only that, but there's also one thing that they consider for streamers, because one thing that's going on with streamers, like I put in my other videos, is a big DMCA war. As you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, they use a lot of copyrighted music in their, you know, in pretty much any medium that they appear in. So what Square did was they actually put a streamer mode, so which they'll play an original game soundtrack that won't get your video DMCA'd if you decide to stream the game. And for someone like me, that's really great, really awesome. And it's just, this is a gamer's game. Like, if you really are a gamer, I feel like anyone should pick this game up and get it. It's fun from start to finish. It's loaded with content. It's one of the more, you know, easier platinums, on the easier side of games to platinum, which I can always appreciate, because, you know, some games, you know, it's fine to have a high difficulty to platinum, but other games, you know, lower that difficulty a little bit. Let me explore, because I ain't gonna lie, man, I loved exploring every nook and cranny of this game. And I feel like developers, especially when it comes to level design and combat, should really take a note and take a look at what they're doing with this game, because this is honestly, for me, become the new standard going into the next generation of gaming. And I feel like everyone should own this game. Anyway, guys, this has been TrapGoku. I really appreciate you guys coming through to the videos, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.